Hi, Daniel. How are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. It's been a good day. So, today I kind of wanted to go over with you just some of the things that I've been seeing as I'm looking over your assessment and potential treatment options. And there's actually I was thinking about giving you a referral today to another service that I think might actually be able to help with your recovery from alcohol abuse. So, as I've been looking through the assessment, you have actually stated that you were in your motorcycle accident and you were treated for head injuries at that time. And after going through some questions, you've reported some difficulty with short-term memory loss. You've had problems focusing, and you're even finding it difficult to kind of maintain a job these days. Actually, those things are symptomatic of traumatic brain injury. Those are symptoms that a person might experience after pretty heavy blow to the head. You stayed in hospitalization for a couple days there. Now, why that's significant in being treated for a substance abuse disorder is there are some kind of added dangers to continued use of alcohol that you've been experiencing, since the injury. So I kind of wanted to just go through a list with you real quick, just some things that might be helpful to you just to understand a little further how a traumatic brain injury and a substance abuse disorder might kind of interact. So if you want to come over for a second here. This is a page that I found online, and it's pretty cohesive discussing this problem. What we see is that people who use alcohol or other drugs after they have a brain injury often don't recover as much.
Okay.
It's not as healthy of a recovery because these are substances that are still affecting your brain. They're actually slowing down the recovery process. Brain injuries cause problems in balance. Would you say that you've been having any of those?
Like standing, walking? Yeah. Not that I notice.
Okay, so that hasn't been your experience. Okay. Well, that's actually a good thing.
Okay.
Also, there's some kind of impulsive behaviors that are associated with traumatic brain injury, and that could even be, getting into trouble while you're drinking. You've reported, that you've been in some fights, at the bar. That could also be symptomatic of traumatic brain injury.
Okay. Could be symptomatic of other people being jerks too.
You're absolutely right about
Okay.
that. Yeah. So, we don't need to we don't have to figure that out right now.
Okay.
But it is something to consider. People who have had a brain injury are more likely to have times that they feel low or depressed, and drinking alcohol or getting high on other drugs makes this worse. And that is always a concern. We don't want to see depression kind of rising up. And it's going, if you're already feeling that, then this can actually make it a lot worse. Just the continued use of alcohol. And I think it's kind of obvious, but sometimes people who continue to drink alcohol after a brain injury are more likely to have another brain injury, more likely to get into another accident. So these are just some concerns that I think are worth looking into. We don't actually know exactly why there is a relationship between traumatic brain injury and substance use disorders, but oftentimes that brain injury either leads to a substance use disorder or the substance use disorder leads to the brain injury. Can't say that there's why there's a definite relationship with that, but a lot of studies have just showed that oftentimes happens. That it's often the case that both of them are occurring. What I'd like to do is set you up with an appointment with the Traumatic Brain Injury Network at the OSU Wexner Medical Center. They work with people who have had brain injuries and also are experiencing substance use disorders, like you're drinking. So does that sound like something that you would be interested in looking into?
Maybe. I mean, what do they do there?
Basically, they can do treatment for substance disorders. They're going to do an assessment of your movement, how this injury has affected you. They will be able to give you a very definite look into how it's been affecting your life. Your memory, they're going to have really good answers for you as to how this may have been impacting you. And we can stay in contact with them and kind of work together to create a strong treatment plan. So if you would want to do that, does that sound reasonable to you? Does it sound like something that you'd want to know more about?
Yeah, maybe know more about, because, I mean, if I'm going here and there, that's like a lot of time,
Right. So, and that's, I think the best thing to do would be to just kind of show up and see what they have to say about it, just to get an idea of, what kind of program they would put you on. And if your treatment doesn't seem like it would be fitting here, then maybe you would just set up primarily with OSU and just work with them. So why don't we, we'll finish up here, and then after that, I'd like to just maybe make a phone call with you, and we could set you up with an appointment. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Daniel. Have a good day.